Hey, it's Steve coming from you from somewhere in Angelina County. I live in Huntington, so hey. Anyway, I want to give updates. As previously, I told everyone that I was going to be sending out some Freedom of Information Acts to gain more information about our deaths, our recent deaths that we've had in Angelina County Jail. Now I'm going to refer to 3 deaths, and each one is in a different phase of completion. Ms. Hartman, Mr. Smallwood, and Mr. Stolik. Now, I put in freedom of information requests to all of our county commissioners, including the county judge, requesting the investigation that was provided to them by Sheriff Selman, explaining the death in the jail, or these deaths in a jail. All of them have come back unanimously saying that they don't have any information, or were never supplied information and didn't have any access to this information. So in other words, a commissioner's court who authorized funds to the sheriff's department and the county jail doesn't have access to the protocols, guidelines, the printed guidelines, and the standard operating procedures of a jail. When there is a death in the jail, they don't have to be notified. Basically, yeah, it happened. I'm handling it, it happened. So I fail to understand how they can authorize money to a jail which had 3 deaths in it in recent history in the last 3 years, and they don't want any information about it. County Attorney's Office, the same thing. We don't know about the DA's office. I'm waiting on that information request to come back. Because the reason why I'm asking for this is that I want to know if the grand jury was shown this video. It's a vital piece of information, wouldn't you think? But we don't know, because our grand jury, of course, they're secret and they're supposed to be or whatever, but we don't have any information on what was disclosed to the grand jury. I haven't found out how to get a copy of the agenda, and I don't know if it can be done, but I'm still looking. Many of you have heard this story about the 3 deaths. Many have, if you watch my videos, I have gone into detail about how this happened. I still don't know why it happened. I really don't know how it happened. I don't know who was involved. I don't know who all investigated these incidents. But it all comes down to one individual, Mr. James Hicks, who's a Texas Ranger. He works at a Company A here in Lufkin. He seems to be quite interested in investigating these deaths, not only in Angelina County, but also in Nacogdoches. Nacogdoches has a appalling video of an individual who was put in restraint chairs, they beat the hell out of him while he was in a restraint chair. And then the video, they said, stops at this point in time. We know now that the mother, who they showed the video to, she said, I want to see all the video all the way out. He said, well, there's nothing on it. She said, let me see. Come to find out, they put her son in a hallway in his restraint chair, and we see an individual coming outside of a door, stabbing him with a syringe, walking away. 15 minutes later, this guy goes into a convulsions. We don't know if he was taken to the hospital or nothing. Apparently, around here, if a prisoner or a detainee gets sick, you deny medical attention, you deny individuals to come in getting vital signs. And in the case of Angelina County, well, they're faking it, as it was in Ms. Hartman's case. So basically what I'm saying is there's 3 investigations that there's no answers to, that the answers that they're providing is bullshit, because the fact is that, let me ask you a question. If you investigate something as a layman like myself, if something happens inside an area, I want to get all the witnesses there who saw this. I want to especially talk to the individuals, interview the individuals who were involved in the incident. I also want to talk to the medical personnel about what they observed. Were they there when they put him in restraints? Was the guards there? Was Lieutenant Rodriguez there to witness? Oh, just to let the commissioners know, if you're going to put someone in restraints, Texas law states that there have to be at least 8 individuals. One has to be the medical personnel, and the other one has to be shift supervisor. We are anxious to see the individuals who are actually involved in the Stolen case to see if it's actually the same guards. Wouldn't that be something? Now, as far as my complaints and my information that I'm seeking, Texas Department of Jail Standards. I never can remember that name, but anyway, the Texas Department of Jail Standards. I wrote to them and asked them basically if they were aware of the Smallwood case and the death. I went extensively through where the time frames did not match up as far as the booking, as far as when he got there, at the time of death, all these things. Broke it down like a shotgun. A spokesman for Texas Department of Jail, they came back and there's nothing we can do. Now, mind you, they had already been out twice and actually warned and actually put Angelina County Jail non-compliant with medical timeliness of guards checking on certain individuals. If you put them in mental hold, you put them in detox, you got to go. If you put them in restraints, you got to go check them every 10 minutes. And that wasn't being done. So now complaints have been piling up on this jail. And whenever a person dies, you don't want to investigate. You don't want to go inspect. You don't want to do anything except accept a report from a sheriff who was deposed, and he wasn't even there. No information from any of the witnesses or the people who were there or people that participated, none. Now, in my quest, I actually put another complaint in to the Texas Jail Standards, Texas Jail Standards. It was a complaint today because here's the question, had they followed up on the information that I provided and also the information of the investigation that was conducted, if they would have followed up and checked and did an investigation or did a compliance check at that particular time, Mr. Smallwood may be alive today. If they would have checked after Mr. Smallwood's death, if this jail was in compliance, it could have prevented Mr. Stolic's death. May or may not. However, the fact is, I would want, at this point, I don't believe any inspection that comes out from Texas Department of Jail standards, because the fact is, you know what? How do you know? Seems like they're on the tape. Well, I'll pass you, but you got a greased palm here a little bit. Sorry to say, it seems like it. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Shit, I'll say some bitch is a duck. Now, this is an ongoing issue. We're getting reports now because myself, other individuals are coming forward and asking these questions from these jails. We're starting to notice the deaths. We had a death Monday in Smith County Jail. Everybody knows how jacked up Smith County is. Now, with all the corruption on top of that, now they got a jail they got to correct. Or at least get up to standards. If there's a death in the jail at any time, my language, but anyway, I'm watching my language. They need to go out and do an inspection. They need to shut the jail down and go out and do an investigation. And they automatically need to conduct their own investigation into what happened. You don't rely on the Texas Rangers anymore. We're constantly learning that. Do I believe that the Texas Rangers as a unit is corrupt? No, I don't. But I do believe after multiple investigation into Mr. Texas Ranger James Hicks, and his name keeps popping up on questionable investigations, I think somebody start asking some questions, don't you? But no. And why is this? I think I speak for most of the small towns across Texas, especially in Southeast Texas. Here's the classism that's involved here. You have the haves, then you have the wanna-haves, then you have the have-nots. The wanna-haves will do any damn thing that they possibly can to get to that level to where they're a have, not just financially, socially. You have special attention from the church. You have special attention from the government. They cut you off on us and everything. So we would stand to believe that this is where we're at, and we don't. And the wanna-haves are not standing up for the rights of the rest of the individuals. If you are a county commissioner, and I say that because commissioners have different responsibilities. But if I'm on a county commissioner, I'm going to have to answer what this investigation was about, because I'm going to have to go answer to my constituents. I got to go tell them. They said, well, there's a death in the jail. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Why not? You should be, just for shits and giggles. Why? Because that information could lead to the amount of money you spend in the jail. You're spending money on an extension to the jail. Okay. We have an overcrowding problem. You can buy that. But you haven't spent any money on determining how we keep these detainees safe. You could call in an independent third party, besides the Texas Rangers, to investigate this. Sheriff Selman's statement was, well, we didn't want to release the video because the fact is it would cause outside investigations. Somebody else would be looking into it. We, the public, would be looking into it or whatever. So we're not going to release the video. You damn right. Somebody died in a jail. 3 people died in a jail. Do you think we wouldn't ask why? Do you think maybe you might want to show us how this happened? But no, they can get away with it. It goes all the way up to the Attorney General's office, who agreed with the county that they didn't have to release a video of a death of an inmate in the jail. We see across Texas and across the nation, police officers, law enforcement officers, jail personnel being totally transparent, showing the video of incidents such as this that happen. It benefits the public because we actually are aware of these type of conditions. We are aware of what's being done about it. But the Attorney General doesn't see it that way. So what did we do? Well, here's what we did. We put pressure on our congressman and said, you know what? Close the dead man loophole. The dead man loophole, basically, it was a loophole that law enforcement utilizes. As if there's a death, if there's a death in custody, they don't have to release information. They don't have to. HB 30 shut that loophole. This is important because the fact is HB 30 just went into effect in September. Mr. Smallwood and Ms. Hartman's death, they were before September the 1st of 2023, so they got away with it. But now Mr. Stolik's death should actually show us full disclosure. Now, imagine, if you will, when they release this video on Mr. Stolik, and we don't know whether there's any wrongdoing or whatever, but if there is either questionable or wrongdoing on all these individuals who were involved, then you have to open up the Smallwood and Hartman case again. Sheriff Selman said Smallwood case is over with for him. No, it's not. And if you refuse to issue the Stolik video or any information on the Stolik information, we're going to take you to court. We're going to get the information, and we're going to file a Class A lawsuit of everyone who was involved or has been treated that way. This is not a threat, but these are the avenues of legal steps we can take. Because there are the Constitution, there are the Bill of Rights, there's our Texas State Constitution. They've thwarted all 3 of those. But here's what they can't get around: the opinion of the public. The opinion, the public perception of the people who actually have to pay for Sheriff Selman and his goonies. And I say goonies because the fact is that we're not only talking about Texas Ranger Hicks. We're going to get information on him. We're going to see how deep it goes, how many investigations he's done. I've already requested that for a year and a half. We should see a pattern based on that period of time. But also we'd have to question Lieutenant Rodriguez, who was the supervisor of that shift. And then we'd want to question the individuals who were actually involved in it and any witnesses around that saw it. We have witnesses that were trustees in the county jail that have made statements and said, no, I jacked him up. They never were deposed. They never were asked the details. But this was spread all because of one reason, because a trustee was there, witnessed it, all the shenanigans, came back in because he needed to get his hair cut, got his hair cut. Somebody asked him, what the hell are they doing down there? Oh, they jacking Smallwood up. Matter of fact, it was even stated, oh, they killing it, man. This was the scuttlebutt in the room of detainees. I don't know if you know or not, but detainees, we spread the word pretty quickly because the fact is, you know what? We're hoping it doesn't affect us in any way. So we can try to explain away that Mr. Smallwell was pronounced dead at 11:36 per the coroner and per the statements of the individuals who were there. And we're asked to accept the fact that he wasn't booked in until 12:28. And we're supposed to accept the fact that Mr. Stolik, they put him in detox for 2 days before they booked him. And we're supposed to accept the fact that Ms. Hartman, after multiple requests to see the medical personnel, she was denied. And here's the reason why. They said she was faking it. Okay. Tell me when a guard that works in a jail has a medical degree or any kind of training that would determine if a person's faking it or not faking it. You kind of have to get an you kind of have to do it. You got to look into the product now. Maybe take the blood pressure, maybe take the temperature, take the breathing, take their pulse. Something that me and you would automatically go through if we went to the doctor. Mr. Hartman died of pneumonia. Now, we do not know if this pneumonia was created while she was out of jail or whether she was in jail. But we do know that the conditions inside in the jail did not help her case any, because the fact is that we had multiple complaints of mold that's growing in the showers and the bathroom areas. Now, many people say, well, that's up to the prisoners to keep their place clean. That's up to the detainees to keep it clean and sanitary or whatever. Yeah, you're right. But let me tell you something. Right at night, right before you go to bed at night, they wheel in a dirty mop and some dirty water. That's what you're supposed to clean with. No detergent, no none of that shit. No, just water, dirty water. And you're supposed to keep the place clean. During COVID, we had individuals coming in cleaning the vents with rags, cleaning it with rags. Meanwhile, all that shit that's going to come right back on us or whatever. But hey, you live with it because it's a jail, and you know what? It's not the Ramada Inn, and you accept that fact. So now, the part I'm playing in this is that I'm actually trying to get this information out to people who do not want to know regularly or who do not pay attention to these small facts, and it didn't perk their interest due to the lack of coverage by our local news and follow-up investigations. I have learned more than the Daily News, Lufkin Daily News, ever found out about that, and they never even questioned it. They just wrote the story. People died. And it's in a news cycle for 24 or 48 hours, and people go on about their business like, okay, well, somebody died in the jail. Well, why did they die in the jail? And here's a very important thing, because people will not ask those questions, because the fact is they haven't realized one thing. What if it's your loved one and they have to go to jail for some reason? Wouldn't you want them to actually be pretty kind of safe and as safe as they can in their environment? You would think they'd be jacked up by other inmates. You have to kind of accept that. But jacked up by their own guards, being allowed to die by your own guards. If they were not in detox cells, other prisoners would have came forward and demanded the guards come take a look at them. If they were in a pod, but no, they separated them. They were by themselves. They couldn't ask for help, and they were in a restraint chair. And person was suffering from pneumonia who went untreated. So we've authorized $16 million for a jail extension, 250 more beds going to be added to. Like I said, I kind of agree with that because the fact is we got a number of people who are going to jail. I believe we got more people in jail than we need to, but that's not my call. But when you put an individual in jail and they don't get to talk to their lawyer for 6 months or 8 months, you may get a trial within 2 years. What if you're innocent? It's a good point, but the fact of the matter is it gets off the point of people dying in jail. And it gets very to the point to whenever, you know what, we deserve to know how that jail happened. I respect the families and their wishes. I understand that. But also, they will also understand the fact is that they need closure on how their son or loved one died. And we need that information as far as the public to make conditions better to where people don't die. And follow the protocols and the guidelines and the actual state jail guidelines. And I've seen the SOP. I'll give you an example. Texas state law states that if you're, and I think I said this anyway, if you're going to be restrained, there need to be a number of personnel there on each pressure point to put you in constraints. And then there needs to be a medical personnel and the shift supervisor. Plain as day, right there. The SOP for Angelina County says when they describe deadly force or restraining, the exact words, it's actually written down in a piece of paper, says on the job training. On the job training. So now we wonder why we have deaths in the jail, because everything's done on the job. So I'm putting this video out. I'm putting it out to a few people who are dwelling in the same thing. It's happening in their counties, happening in their local areas. And the reason why is that I posted out there because I don't really expect Angelina County to move forward and do what's in regard to the law and what's required of them. But what I can do is get the word out that this is an issue in Angelina County, and I can get other people who may or may not have experienced this thing. I can actually get ideas on how to address these issues, on how they did it and it worked, or they got answers. And in exchange for that, today on my Facebook page, I befriended a lot of people. If you got a friend request from me, I'm not running a scam or nothing. I'm not going to ask nobody for money. I just want to share information that should be available to the people, and it's not. And if we can get together as a people and start comparing notes on what situations is like in their jail, what methods were taken to correct it, and what will give you an idea on where to need to start or whatever, then this is when we're going to initiate change, not only across the state of Texas, but also we're going to start questioning it on the federal level as well. It has come to the point in Angelina County that if you want to get anything done and you want to have justice done in any way, shape, form, or fashion, don't waste your time on county court. Like I said, they're the haves, they're the want-to-haves, and then there's have-nots. These are people who are the haves. They run a little tight circle. They call it justice. But doesn't necessarily make it so. So thank you guys for listening. If you like it, share it. If you have any questions, write me. I'm on YouTube. I'm on be dropping some stuff on my Facebook. I mean, on my Facebook and my Twitter account. I just got Rumble account, so I'll have the availability to drop these videos there. Um, and it's not vindictive. It's not. It's just that no one's above the law. We have lived by that statement. We have fought for the people who can't fight for themselves. And we have fought for people who cannot receive justice. And I don't believe that any three of these individuals who passed away in Angelina County Jail was wanted, warranted, or was it done illegally? So, thank you guys for listening. I know I run too much over on my time. I get talking or whatever. Thank you guys for listening. Like and share. Stand by for other videos. Out.